Hi, my name is Nana and welcome to my channel, A Puzzling Lamb. This video is all about puzzle accessories. Now, of course, I haven't tried every single puzzle accessory that is out there. So in this video, I'm going to show you the puzzle accessories I use, talk about why I use it, why I love them. I'm also going to talk about what I once used, what I used to use, and why I don't use it anymore. Now, I would love to hear from you in the comments what puzzle accessories you use, what are your recommendations, because with puzzle accessories, it's a very personal thing. It really depends on your own way of puzzling. But I just really wanted to share with you my recommendations. Now, when I first thought of making this video, which is quite a long time ago actually, I thought I wanted to divide everything up into need to have, nice to have, and a luxury to have. But I very quickly moved away from that idea because honestly, there is no puzzle accessory that you need to have. The only thing you need to have to do a puzzle is a puzzle and a flat surface that's big enough. Everything else is just an extra help, but it really isn't needed. So just remember that. Now when I'm going to show you all kinds of puzzle accessories, don't let it scare you if you're new to the puzzling hobby. You don't need to hurry out and buy a whole bunch of different puzzle accessories. Also, just if you are new, perhaps, figure out how you like to puzzle first so you know what kind of puzzle accessories that works for you, so don't go out and buy a bunch of stuff that doesn't really work for you. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's just get into it. So let's start with the biggest category of puzzle accessories, at least for me personally, and that is puzzle boards and other surfaces to put together a puzzle on. As I said, there is no puzzle accessory you need. You can just do your puzzle directly on your table or on your floor or whatever you have available. But some kind of puzzle board really is helpful, and I have quite a lot. Now, the first I want to talk about is one that I do still have, and I do still use it, but only very rarely. And it is the first thing I got. I actually bought it in the same order where I bought my very first 1,000-piece puzzle. And that is a puzzle roll-up mat. So there are a lot of different types of these out there. I'll put up a picture of mine here. So these work so that it's very often a felt mat. You can put your puzzle on, and then you have some kind of tube where you can roll it up, or the mat with the puzzle. You can roll it on the tube and store it like that. Now, it works fine, and I did use it quite a lot in the beginning. The reason I'm not using it anymore, with the specific one I have, it's a very, very green felt, and I do think that, a lot of puzzle mats do have some kind of bright color, and I'm really not a fan of that. I really like to take pictures of my puzzles also while I assemble them, and it's not necessarily the prettiest with that green color, but also I just think that it really takes away from my enjoyment of the image. It can really be distracting, and it's also not all images that, works well with a green color. It can make it a lot more difficult to put a puzzle together. But the biggest reason I'm not using it anymore really is that I now have puzzle boards, and I'm going to show you those in a minute, but I always have a puzzle going, so I think it's a lot faster for me to just grab a board and move that to another table if I need to move my puzzle than it is to roll it up on a mat like that. But I will say that if you like puzzle mats, roll up puzzle mats, and if you don't care about the green color, I do really recommend the one I have. It is one for up to 6,000 pieces. I do believe you can buy them smaller, but it was actually pretty much the cheapest option for me at the time. There weren't that many options when I bought this one, But then I just simply cut it up. So I have cut it up into a mat that fits 1,000 pieces and a mat that fits 2,000 pieces. So yeah, because it's just felt, you can just cut it up into any size you want. But the thing that makes me really recommend this one, if you're into puzzle roll-up mats, is that it's a nice thick felt. So all other puzzle mats I've touched, I've seen in real life, they are all like really thin felt that wrinkles really easily, that's really difficult to get to lay flat, and you really do need a flat surface to do a puzzle. But this one is a nice, thick, sturdy felt. I also think it's been a while since I put together a puzzle on it, but I know a lot of people do not like to puzzle on felt because the pieces often, the felt really grips a hold on the pieces, so it can be a bit difficult to move pieces around. I think this one was fine in that respect. I don't remember it really gripping onto the pieces like that. But I'm also sure that you can find other puzzle roll-up mats that are great quality. I have also seen now that you can get some that are white or black. So definitely, if you think this is what you will like, I'm sure there's some great quality ones out there. I do still use mine, not so much to puzzle on top of, but if I have a puzzle that I for some reason need to store away for a longer period of time, so I don't want, a puzzle board on a table somewhere. I really want to pack it away. I sometimes move a puzzle, a non-completed puzzle, onto that roll-up mat so I can roll it up and I can really store it away. But yeah, that's really the only time I use it. But yeah, please let me know if you have any good recommendations for puzzle roll-up mats, so anyone who wants a puzzle roll-up mat knows what to get. Now, the thing that I hear most people use for puzzle boards that is not sold as puzzle boards is, I think you call it foam board, right? I know a lot of people use that. I know a lot of people love that. I have a big one that fits 2,000 pieces, and I'm not that big of a fan. Honestly, foam board, it's not, I think, the easiest thing to find here in Denmark, at least not in a size that fits a puzzle. I think they're quite expensive, especially when you consider that they are not, the most durable quality. So the one I have, it's getting quite dented a lot of places. It's looking quite dirty in a lot of places. I'll put up a picture of it. So I have used it quite a lot before I got other things to use. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of foam boards. I'm sure if you live somewhere where you can easily buy them and where they're cheap, they're a fine option. But personally, I'm not that big of a fan. It's just too expensive and too difficult to find, and I'm not going to say bad quality, but they don't last very long. What I use all the time, and also just with all of my puzzle boards, I'm going to show you and trace. I think there's only one that is actually sold as a puzzle board, but just to say, you don't need to, find something that is marketed as a puzzle board. There are a lot of other options. But the thing I use most of all, I have these fabric covered boards here. So this is boards that I actually just had from another project years ago. And I remembered them, got them out of storage, and I love them. So these are made of what I think you call soft wood fiber board or soft masonite board. And then they're just covered with fabric. You can see, sorry, it's a bit dirty. I have just covered it with fabric. And this way you can get any surface you want, any type of fabric you want. So I have two that are black. They actually have different types of fabric on them. And this is just really nice because the pieces don't slide on these, but they don't grip as tightly as felt, for example. You can really choose any kind of surface you want. I have two of these black ones. They're slightly different sizes. I think it's 61 times 72 and 61 times 79. centimeters. So these really are great for 1,000-piece puzzles. Again, this is also material you can easily cut into the exact size you want. I can really, really recommend this. I think it's, these black ones are the ones I use the most. But to see another type of surface you can put on them, I have this one, which I have put on a piece of light gray, and I just have to check what it's called in English. I googled it. It's called, I think, oilcloth in English. It really sounds disgusting. The direct translation from Danish is wax tablecloth, but this is just, a nice neutral color that works well with both darker images and lighter images. It's a bit more smooth than the fabric covered ones I have, but it's also, a bit easier to clean. Before I put on this oilcloth on it, which is actually quite recently, it was covered with some white fabric, and honestly, it very quickly got not very pretty to look at. And with these fabric ones, they, are a little bit difficult to clean, but this one you can just, wipe down easily. So again, you can just use any kind of surface texture you like. And with cleaning, with the fabric ones, I do have this little brush here, this little cloth brush. This is, just an old one I already had, but it is really nice to have some kind of brush so you can just easily remove any puzzle dust. Yeah, I really recommend this setup to get some of that soft wood fiber board covered with whatever surface you like. Huge recommendation for me. Now for bigger boards, for bigger puzzles, I do have 2 MDF boards. Just some nice thin 3mm thick ones with the white MDF boards. I'll show you a picture. These are 80 times 120 centimeters. I actually bought these for my 5,000 Augsburger puzzle I still need to do, because, I needed something to put it on, and then I've found out that if I got 2 of those big MDF board, I could put the puzzle together on those and then stack them when I wanted to move them, so they didn't take up quite a lot of space. And it's really difficult to find one board that is big enough for 5,000 piece puzzle. But I bought them for that. I haven't done that 5,000 piece puzzle yet, but I do use that MDF board a lot. I love that it's white. I was really happy to find one that's white. Everything I can link, I will link down in the description. I just got it from a hardware store, so it's obviously a Danish. Everything I'm going to link is from Danish websites, but if you're not in Denmark, you can at least check it out, see all the details, the specifications, and perhaps that way a little easier search for something in your area. Anyway, I use it a lot. I use it for any bigger puzzles I'm doing. I use it a lot when I'm filming now, because, as I said, I most often use those black boards when I'm doing a puzzle, but when I'm filming, I really want a white background, and those are perfect, and they're nice and big. And I also use them a lot when I'm speed puzzling, and especially for online competitions. They're really great, and the texture on them is also nice. They're quite matte, and I love them. I'm using them a lot, and I actually think I'm going to buy one more and then cut it so it fits a smaller puzzle also, because it really is, lightweight, it's easy to move around, and it's a really lovely surface. Definitely recommend. Now for smaller puzzle boards, I got this one, and this is also just to show you that you can really use anything. So this small white board here is actually one I got at IKEA at their sale section with slightly damaged things. So this, I think, is some kind of, cabinet or something, for a cabinet or something. But yeah, I found this one. I can see I paid 19 kroners for it. That's nothing. It fits a 500-piece puzzle perfectly. I really like to use this one also for wooden puzzles sometimes. I really like a, proper, like, hard surface for my wooden puzzle, so I can really enjoy the sound. So yeah, really, just to show you, look anywhere you can. Yeah, there are a lot of different options. I also have this one, also from IKEA. This is a tray, classic tray with, these legs here. This I've had for a long time. Didn't buy it for puzzles, but it's also great. I don't think you can get it anymore. But again, just to show you, you can really use anything. This one doesn't quite fit a 500-piece puzzle, but finding a tray with legs like this is really nice for doing a puzzle in bed, for example. A few years back, I had surgery in a toe, had to lie down with my feet up for several days. It was really nice to have this board so I could still do puzzles. Yeah. The next one, which is a really nice and really cheap, at least for this specific one, option that I can definitely recommend. I'm a huge fan of this. I found this for, some month ago, probably longer, I don't know. It's relatively new in my collection. It's this, and this is just a normal, like, cork pinboard. Is that what you call it? Notice board. I can't remember. This I also just bought at a hardware store. I'll link it down below. It costs 50 kroners, really cheap. This one also fits a 500-piece puzzle perfectly, and I really love doing wooden puzzles on this one, because with this cork here, there's some, what you call that, friction, so the pieces don't slide around like they do with, this type of surface here. But with this one, they don't slide around, but that it's still, hard enough that I do get that lovely wooden puzzle piece sound. And it's also really nice that it has, a slight edge here so pieces don't fall off. Really recommend this one. And again, go out, find a notice board. You can really use anything. I also have this one. Also, just a standard tray. I already had this one. I've used a lot with smaller puzzles, with mini puzzles. So yeah, really just to show you anything. You can use anything. I don't use this one quite as much anymore after I got the next one here. And the next one here is the only puzzle board or tray or whatever you want to call it that is actually sold as a puzzle tray. And it's this Wentworth one. I did get this one for free from Wentworth as a Wentworth ambassador, but I do really, really love it. Oh, one thing, now that I mention Wentworth, that I really love about this one, my favorite thing about this one, is that this is the perfect size to do a 250-piece Wentworth puzzle on, because you have room for all of the pieces, in one layer, all of the pieces, and the puzzle itself. I really like that. This one also fits a 250-piece Wentworth puzzle, but it only fits the puzzle, so you'll need to have the pieces next to it somehow. So I actually don't really use this one for 250-piece Wentworth puzzles. I do believe you can get one bigger also for 500-piece puzzles, but I do use this one all the time for mini puzzles, both Wentworth and other wooden mini puzzles, but also cardboard mini puzzles. It's a really nice quality, and it also has this, small edge here so the pieces don't slide off. So I can also really recommend this one. But again, as you could see with all of my boards, you really don't need to go out and buy an expensive board that is sold as a puzzle board. You can do that, and I'm sure there are some amazing ones out there. I have seen some reviews of some that, I'm a little bit jealous of. So it's not like it's necessarily not worth your money to buy those. But there are a lot of other options, cheap options, do-it-yourself options. Just finding what you perhaps already have in your home. You can really use anything. Again, my biggest recommendations is to get hold of some soft wood fiberboard or any other type like that, and then cover it yourself with whatever fabric you would like to put your puzzles together on. The next category I want to talk about is sorting trays. Also, a really basic puzzle accessory that is really, really useful. Again, you do not need to go out and buy puzzle trays specifically for puzzles. Everything I use are sold as puzzle trays compared to all of my puzzle boards, which are not sold as puzzle boards. But you can really just, use anything you have in your house. Perhaps you don't even need puzzle trays, sorting trays, depending on how you puzzle, but you can just use normal plates. I see a lot of people use like baking trays, stuff like that. When I started puzzling, I really used a lot of just normal plates. But anyway, before I get into what I can recommend, first, what I don't use anymore. So when I started puzzling, it was very limited here in Denmark what you can buy of puzzle trays, sorting trays. So I got basically the only thing I could find, and I'll show you a picture. So it was a set, 6 small puzzle piece shaped red trays from Clementoni, small, stackable, and they worked fine. So again, that red color, I know, not my favorite, but the main thing why I do not use them anymore is the fact that they are puzzle piece shaped. And you can get these types of trays from a lot of different brands, but it's just not very practical for that with that shape. There's a lot of waste of space. If you actually want to lay out the pieces like in nice neat rows, if you perhaps shape sorted, it's really impractical with that shape. A fun idea for me didn't really work. So the thing I use now, and when I bought this set, that's where I parted ways with the other set. So this is a set from Galison. Completely the same concept, but as you can see, just a normal square, so much more useful. So again, you can see these are also stackable. What's really great about this one also is that there is a lid that you can put on top of the top one of these. So this one is also really colorful. It is a lot of different colors. I do like that, so you can, remember that I put the perhaps red pieces in the red tray. You can sort them into the different colors and perhaps remember what you sorted into which color. It does obviously, if you actually really need to, spot a piece in these trays, it can be a bit distracting with the colors. When I use them, I normally use them to just, store sorted pieces, and then when I actually put that pile together, I move it onto my board. But yeah, I mean, it would have been nice if these were just normal white, but I also kind of like these colors. Can really recommend this set if you want small trays like this. So again, small trays like this for me personally is more for, smaller sections of sorted pieces. But yeah, it works really well. I don't use them all the time. I have started in the last, year, I think, with smaller sections, to just sort them out directly on my board. But I do still use them sometimes, and I do really recommend them. And just in general, I really do recommend not getting those puzzle piece shaped ones and just getting some normal square ones. Yeah. But now for the sorting trays, boxes I use the most. I use these every single time I puzzle. Basically every single time I puzzle. And it is this puzzle sorter set from Heye. So this is basically just a set of 6 boxes. So you can use here the lid, you can use that. That's one of the boxes. And then you have 5 more boxes inside here that is gradually getting smaller, so they fit into each other. I really love that. These are also, as you can see, different colors. So again, you can use the colors to remember what you sorted where, but they're not colored in the bottom of the box. So it's just this, normal, neutral cardboard color. I love this set. I really use it all the time. This, I think, is actually the second one I have of them. I have a set where I've had to tape it some places because it's starting to, show a bit of wear and tear. It says nothing about the quality. It's a really nice quality. It just says something about how much I use these. Again, the way you can just stack them inside each other. So yeah, also, I think it's actually quite difficult to find sorting trays that are so big, as big as this. So when I do a puzzle, almost no matter what puzzle it is, only if it's a puzzle where the box is bigger than the biggest box here, which, I hate when the puzzle box is that big, but I actually always, when I turn over all the pieces, sort out the edge, everything else just goes into this one. You can see they have quite a high edge here compared to a lot of other puzzle trays you can buy. Obviously, the smaller boxes have a slightly lower edge, but it's, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. If you have all the pieces in like one layer here down flat, it's sometimes, you have to kind of reach into the box. But I really love it when I have a whole pile of pieces, so I can really have all the pieces for a puzzle, for a 1,000-piece puzzle, and bigger in this one box. I can really recommend this. As I said, I have another set which is, showing some wear and tear, and I also have a set that I've packed away that I can use when this one is also, starting to be too worn out. I've bought one of them from new and the other two I found secondhand. So yeah, really recommend this one. I'll link it down below. I do believe now that the version they make now also includes a box top holder. I haven't tried that. I don't know if that's great or not, how that box top holder is. But the trays, I love, highly recommend. Really use them all the time. All the time. There are a lot of different brands that makes a lot of different and a lot of similar box top holders. You can really get all kinds, but just not in Denmark. I really very rarely see box top holders here in Denmark. So what I used to use but don't use anymore is, some brands adds a little flimsy paper foldable box top holder with the puzzles. So I took one of those, used as a model, and made a bigger one out of some sturdier cardboard. And that is definitely an option to just make your own. And it worked fine. It really worked fine for a long time. But it did also topple over quite easily. With time, it got bent in wrong places, and yeah, but again, it worked fine. But I do have one that I use again all the time, a proper one sold as a box top holder, and it is this one. Again, this one, very, very simple. I'm sure you can get a similar one from a lot of different brands. This one is from Puzzle Kollektiv. I'll link it down below. I love it. It's just, nice, pretty wood. It is really simple to look at, and it works really perfectly. It's so sturdy. I've never had a box topple over in this box top holder, even with big puzzles. It's just perfect. Again, what you get with a box top holder like this, I can just take a box here for my sorting tray set, but when you slot it into here, you can see how it will stand a little tilted, which is really nice when doing a puzzle. And yeah, as you can see, it's just really, really sturdy. And the only times where I can't use this one or don't use this one, you can see here, for example, yeah, it fits, just fits here. But you can see if the box is really small, sometimes it doesn't fit into this. So yeah, highly recommend this one, or just anything else like this. Again, you don't need any of these puzzle accessories, but I really think my puzzling experience have improved since getting a proper box top holder. I also like this one because you can get some in plastic, bigger ones. You can't fold them or anything, which I think, takes up a lot of room. If you want to take it with you somewhere, it can be a bit difficult. This one is a nice compact size. It's a bit heavy, but really nothing too bad. And yeah, fits nicely in a bag. Love it. The other one I have, which I don't use quite as often, is this one, which is from Dansk Puslespilsforening, the Danish Jigsaw Puzzle Federation. Made this one, and this one also works perfectly. This one is really great if you want to take it with you, because you can just take it apart like this, then it really doesn't take up any room. And this one fits a bit smaller boxes than the other one does. I do think it's sometimes a bit more fiddly to get the box into place here, but also just works perfectly. And again, you can get all kinds of different box top holders. So really, my recommendation with this is probably not so much a specific box top holder, but just having a box top holder. I really recommend. Again, I love this one. I will link it down below. But yeah, it's just, once you've tried a proper box top holder, it's really hard to go without. Now for the last category of puzzle accessories I want to show you. And I actually only have one product in this category to show you. And it is lighting. Again, for the longest time, the only lighting I used was just, the lighting I had in my home. The lights I had above my table. It's completely fine. But I have this lamp here. This IKEA lamp. I didn't actually buy it to use with puzzles. I actually bought it to use while filming. But I use it all the time now. I use it for puzzles. I also use it when I do other crafts. I actually bought a second one, so I now have two. It's amazing. Let me show you why. So first of all, it's really small. It's really easy to move around your table when you need it at different spots. But it also gives a nice light, so you can, light up your whole puzzle at once. But, it's really easy to move. I do have, an adapter for it, so I can put it into the, what's that called? Put it into the wall. But this one is actually also, I can use it with my phone. So I can just plug it into my phone, so it's really portable. But you can see the head here, nice and flexible. You can really, use it however you like. But the most amazing thing is that it has, I think, 4 different temperature settings. So you can choose how warm or how cold you want the lighting, and it has 3 different, settings for how bright the light is. So yeah, it just works in every situation. This is sold as for a desk, so you're supposed to put pens or stuff in here, and this is a holder for your phone. This is perfect for a poster. If the poster isn't too big, you can just put your poster here and it can just lean on the lamp itself, and you also get some nice light down on your poster while on your board, on your puzzle itself. So I use it all the time, and it's not very expensive. Again, I'll link it down below. I do believe they still have it. And yeah, again, it's not very expensive. perhaps buy two if you'd like this one. It's really nice. I can have one on each side of my puzzle. And yeah, I every time I hear someone ask what kind of lighting people use, I recommend this lamp. Just think, this is still really great lighting for the size. It lights up a very big area, and the customizability, I do not think is a word. The way you can customize what light you want out of it, and the way you can move it around, and yeah, it's amazing. And also, just if you want a light, as I said, not just for puzzles, I use it with all my crafts. I use it when I make my jewelry, and yeah, love it. Perhaps this is actually my biggest recommendations of all the things I've shown you. And again, as I said, you don't need specific lighting to do a puzzle, but I do think that it really does. It's the thing that makes the biggest difference here with my puzzling experience, is to have some proper lighting. So yeah, my biggest recommendation for you in this video is that light. But again, I really want to know from you what you use of puzzle accessories, what you can recommend to me and everyone else. And also let me know if any of the things that I've talked about that I don't use anymore, for example, those puzzle roll-up mats, if you use them and why you love to use them. And yeah, let's just have a conversation about puzzle accessories. And again, this is all a luxury to have all of this. And also with all of these puzzle accessories, I didn't go out and buy all at once. It's taken a few years to have this collection of mine. Oh, I almost forgot. I do have a few miscellaneous puzzle accessories I want to talk about. So I also have a box filled with Ziploc bags. So I use those when I've done a puzzle and I want to put it away. I have some small ones for the edges, because yes, I put the edges in a separate bag once I've done a puzzle, and bigger ones, both for 500 pieces and 1,000 pieces. And yeah, so I really think it's nice to have a little selection of Ziploc bags for your puzzles. Another thing, let me just grab it, that I just want to talk about. If you putting together wooden puzzles, and especially if you like to take pictures of them, I do have this pen from HelloFish. It came with one of their puzzles that was sent to me from them, was gifted to me from them. I do believe, I'll check, and if I'm correct, I'll link it down below, that you can actually buy this pen on its own. But it's just a little sticky pen, so you can pull out wooden puzzle pieces. I use it when I take pictures of my wooden puzzle pieces, and I need to grab all of the whimsy pieces. It's just really, really easy. It has lost its stickiness, but whenever that happens, I just take a little piece of double-sided tape and put on top of it, and then it's as brand new. And I've also seen, I can't remember who I saw, but I saw someone who just took a normal pen and put a piece of double-sided tape on the edge of it or on the lid. I can't remember, but you can really make your own. But I do like some sort of sticky pen I can recommend if you are into wooden puzzles. I think that is all I can think of for puzzle accessories. I think that was it. So please let me know what you use of puzzle accessories. Please let me know if there are any of this that you're tempted to try. And yeah, again, let's have a conversation about puzzle accessories. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please leave a like and consider subscribing. See you next time.